Okay, for this tutorial, I am going to make a new document. So I'm going to go up to the top of my screen and go to File, New, and we're going to make this inches. So I'm going to go 6 inches by 6 inches at 300 dpi. And so I'm going to say OK. So I already saved some images off the internet of vegetables. So I'm going to go to File, Place, and I've got this picture of a potato, and I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger by holding my Shift key at the same time and dragging it. Once I get it to the size that I want, I'm going to click Enter. And right now my potato is a smart object. As you can see, it's got a little icon here. And when it's a smart object, it doesn't always let you do everything that you want editing wise, so you need to rasterize the layer. So go to Layer, Rasterize, Smart Object. And now that little icon went away, and now you can work with the potato. Now I'm going to want to place another image. I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Place, and I'm going to go pick my celery and place it in there, and I'm going to click Enter. And I'm going to use my magic wand tool, but first I need to rasterize the layer. So rasterize smart object. I'm going to use my magic wand tool here. If you don't see it, it's probably hiding behind the quick selection. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click the white area. It didn't quite get all of it, magic wand tool. It picks up colors that are similar. If you want to play with how picky your magic wand is, you can play with the tolerance. Let's see what happens when I lower the tolerance to maybe 10. It's being kind of weird. It's being definitely pickier. Well, let's raise it to maybe 80. It's picking up a lot more. I'm just going to put it back at 30 and just keep going. As you can see, I still need to pick up a little bit more area. I'm going to hold Shift, and I have a little plus sign on my wand. So I'm going to try to get as much of the white background as possible, all while holding the Shift. That looks pretty good. A little bit got selected there that I don't want. It's not a big deal. I'm going to make a mask, this rectangle with the circle. I'm going to click it. If something like this happens, where it actually deletes the celery rather than the background, totally fine. Just go up to Image, Adjustments, and Invert. It'll flip it for you. I'm going to zoom in. As you can see, I've got a little white patch there that I don't really want. So I'm going to go to my brush tool, and you need to make sure you're on your mask layer. I'm going to switch to black. When I switch to it, see how it deletes that? It deletes part of the celery. I'm going to go over there. I actually want to bring back part of the celery that got deleted. So I'm going to switch it to white by pressing the little arrow. You can also use the letter X on your keyboard. It's a shortcut, and it'll toggle between black and white. So now I'm going to paint with the white there to try to bring back the celery that was deleted. And I'm going to switch to a harder edged tool right there. I'm going to switch to black again to undo it. So it's a lot of back and forth, I realize. Looks like a little chunk got cut out. I'm going to switch to white again, and I'm going to go back. So you need to make sure you're on the mask layer, because I was actually on the celery layer. Let's see what happens if I paint on it. It'll actually come out as black, and you don't want that. I'm going to zoom out. Now I want to make the celery a little smaller. So I'm going to pull it from the corner while holding Shift, and I'm going to move it, adjust it maybe a little smaller, click Enter once you like it. And you can change the angle, you can rotate it. And I want to give my celery a little bit of a curve. So I'm going to zoom in a little more. I'm going to go to Image, actually no, I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and I'm going to try warping it. This is really cool. It's really neat. It puts a grid over your image, and then you can kind of pull it, and it actually stretches whatever it is that you have selected. I want it to look like an eyebrow. That's what I'm kind of trying to do to change the shape. maybe curve it a little bit more. Bring that down, grab that, pull it. So you can kind of play around and see what you like. If you're wanting to try to curve something, one of the vegetables, to make it look like a facial shape, that looks more like an eyebrow. All right, I like it, so click enter. And I'm gonna zoom out, and then I'm gonna move it. I want another copy of the celery, right? We want 2 eyebrows. A great trick, if you hold Option, you can make copies of whatever you want. See how my cursor turns into a double arrow? Hold Option and then drag it, and it makes a copy. You can also copy it, right? That's, you guys know how to do that. One thing I'm seeing with my celery is I see kind of a white halo around the edge, and it didn't get deleted. I'm gonna fix that before I make copies, because that's bothering me. So I'm gonna go back to the mask layer, paintbrush, and remember you're getting rid of some of those gross halo pieces around it. So I'm zooming in just to make sure I can get rid of it. It's a little bit of white there, so it's a good thing we're getting rid of that. Again, just check your layer mask, make sure black is over white at this point. And I'm bringing it back. And get rid of that. Looks better. Way better, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna put that guy back, hold your Option key and drag it. That makes a copy. I wanna flip it now. So I'm gonna grab it and just kind of from the edge and kind of pull it. You can also go up to the top, and I think you can free transform it if you flip it that way, but that's a little bit easier. Now I have 2 eyebrows. Okay, great. I think I want to pull something off the internet, maybe that I didn't save. So I'm going to go to Google. Let's type in tomato. And maybe I want it to have, a tomato nose for my veggie face. So I'm going to copy this tomato, or you can save it, but I'm going to go Control, copy image. I'm going to go back to Photoshop, Command B. And when you copy and paste photos into Photoshop, you don't have to do the whole rasterize layer. It doesn't have the little icon on it, so we can start editing it. So once again, this is, a white background. With the magic wand tool, I'm going to select it. Make sure you click your mask tool. It deleted what I didn't want, so now I'm going to go back to image adjustments and invert, and it'll get rid of it. So I'm going to go to my arrow tool, and I'm going to make my tomato smaller. If you don't see the little boundary boxes, it's probably because that show transform controls is not clicked, so make sure that's clicked. Now you can make it smaller. Now I made the tomato smaller for my nose. Once I like it, I can go ahead and click enter or return, that's fine. I don't know, maybe I want them to be tomato eyes. Maybe I changed my mind. All right. And once again, well, that doesn't have a halo, so that's better. Let's go ahead and grab something else from the internet. So wrap this up. How about a watermelon slice? I want something like this to use for my face. I really like that one, maybe for my veggie face. So I want to make sure it's big enough. So again, copy image and go ahead and paste it. While the magic wand is great, you can always use the quick selection, okay? This works really well for some things more than others. So I'm gonna go ahead and click it, and again, drag, kind of hold down. It's pretty smart, it'll select it. You guys have used this before. If it picks up too much, go to the minus, or you can hold your Option key and kind of bring it back in. Okay, select your mask again, and amazingly, it got rid of the background, so good. There's still a little bit of, white area, so I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna make sure I'm on my mask layer, and I'm gonna try to go ahead and delete some of that background to get rid of it. Okay, great. I'm gonna zoom out. Looks like my tomatoes have maybe little halo boxes. I can see them more when I do that. That bothers me. So I'm gonna go back to my tomato layer in the layer mask, go to your paintbrush, and you're gonna go ahead and delete kind of all over there, those little areas to get rid of them. Okay, they're super annoying. That happens sometimes. So we guys go ahead and get rid of some of that. When you zoom out, it looks way better. So now, it's not really where I want my watermelon. So I want to go back to my watermelon layer. See how I'm clicking on my watermelon, but it's not moving? It's moving the tomato. It's because I'm in the wrong layer. Okay? You can rename layers. If you click on it, you can definitely click on it and say tomato left to help you stay organized. If you have auto select, whatever you click on, it'll actually select it. Auto select wasn't on. Okay, so I'm going to make that a little smaller, like that. And one last thing I think I want to give it. I want to give it some ears. So let's go ahead and go to Google one more time. And I want to go ahead and put mushroom ears on. So mushroom slices are probably the best thing to do because they look very ear-like. So I don't know which one I want. This one looks pretty good. Okay, so remember copy, right? Command V. It's not a really high resolution image though, so it's only 200 by 187 pixels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings and then tools, go to size and go to large. It's only going to show you large images of mushrooms, the high resolution, which will help and keep it nice and crisp and clear. This one has watermarks. We don't want to use that. All right, maybe I want to change my mind. What else is good for ears? Oh yeah, avocado would be good. All right, so I have some avocados to choose from. Let's do this one. Go to view image. That's a nice high resolution image of avocados. So I'm going to go ahead and do a copy, control, copy image, and then I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it into Photoshop. You can see it's really big. So make it a lot smaller, move it before I do anything else. Okay. I only want part of this avocado. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use my quick selection tool because I think that's going to be the best choice. This doesn't really have a nice crisp, clear white background. It might be a little trickier, which is why the quick selection probably would be best. I'm going to make sure it's on the plus. I'm going to click and hold, maybe kind of bring it out a little bit. Oops, now bring it back in. So you can go to the minus or you can hold your option key and pull it back in. Yep, to get that nice, crisp shape. Pretty good. It's cutting off a little bit. You might have to go back and forth, kind of practice it, be real patient. That's probably the best it's going to be for now. Not a big deal. I'm going to make a mask. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to get rid of that little extra brown. So mask layer, right? I'm going to paint with the black over white and that'll get rid of that extra. Okay, so now I'm going to move it. There's my avocado ear. I really want it to look more like an ear, so I need it to be behind the potato head. So I'm going to hide all of those layers just so we can see it by pressing the eyeballs. Here's my potato. I'm just going to hide my background too. I'm zooming out. My potato has a white background on it. You can see it there. And I want to delete that. So I'm going to go to the magic wand tool. It's an easy white background and I make a mask. Okay, so image, adjustments, invert, and again, it inverts it. Okay, so now it's cut out. It saved the shadow, which, is fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on all of my vegetable layers again, and I want to pull my avocado layer down below so that it's behind the potato layer. Now you can see it's behind it, which is pretty cool. So if you want to rearrange it, play around with it, you can. And I'm going to make a copy, holding Option